Welcome to the ranch. Today I'm over at Mom's place. If you haven't had a chance to check out some of the other videos that she's done, make sure you get over there on our cooking areas and check out those playlists because Mom is in there. And so we are working on #holidaytreats. That is a new collaborative effort that we're working on. And Mom is all about making those snacks around Christmas, the New Year, the parties that we have always just been a time for her to make some delicious snacks. And so today, Mom is going to be working on what she calls a 7-layer cookie. It is a cookie that is delicious, it's sweet, but you can put it in the fridge and keep it for a long time, way after the holidays. So, would you say this is easy or hard to make?
Oh, it's very easy.
There you go. It's an easy snack.
And today I'm making 7-layer cookies. 7-layer cookies have been around in our family for a long time. Not only did Dave and his brothers grow up on that, that's my husband Dave grew up on these, but my boys did too around the holidays. It was one of the recipes I made first around the holidays, one of our first holidays together, because it was so easy to make and they're delicious. So this is something that my mother-in-law gave me, and so now I'm going to share it with you. There's name of the cookie is a 7-layer cookie, and the reason it's called that, I think, is because there's only 7 ingredients, and you just basically layer them. Here are the 7 ingredients. We have a stick of butter or margarine. We have graham crackers, chocolate chips, coconut, butterscotch chips, and condensed milk and chopped walnuts. So this is how we assemble it. The stick of butter, you can either melt and then pour it into your pan, or you can put it in the oven. So sometimes what I do is I just put the butter stick in the pan, stick it in the oven while I'm grinding my graham crackers and my walnuts. And usually by the time that I'm done with that, the butter's melted. So once it's melted, all you do is you take your graham crackers and just pour it over the butter as evenly as you can. And then you just... One thing that you have to be careful with the recipe, because the recipe used to take fewer graham crackers than it does now, but I don't know if everybody's noticed, but they make boxes and containers and cookies and stuff smaller than they used to. So I think my recipe says 8 crackers. I usually do 9 now because there's just not as much in the thing. So you just pour it all over the butter and then just kind of press it down a little bit. It's going to bake, so it's going to solidify, or not solidify, but it's going to get nice and crunchy and gooey. So all that butter will soak up into the graham crackers. So that's it. Now what we do is we take, you can either take a whole bag of chocolate chips, or in this case, since I got these from Costco, a big bag, I'm going to take 2 cups. So I'm going to take 2 cups of the chocolate chips and just pour them over the graham crackers. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, you're going to want all that because it's really good. Anybody likes chocolate is going to like these. Okay, so 2 cups of those. Just try to spread them out the best you can. They spread out when they're melting anyway. Okay, now I'm going to put butterscotch chips on here. This is what the recipe originally called for, and this is something that my kids like, I guess, because that's what they grew up on. But we have tried it with peanut butter chips, so you can do that if you want. Instead of the butterscotch, you can use the peanut butter, or you could actually do a combination of peanut butter and butterscotch if you wanted to. I've never tried that though, so I'm not sure how that would turn out. But it's definitely something you can experiment with. And just spread those all out. Isn't this simple? Okay, now what you're going to do is take a cup of coconut. Sometimes I actually don't measure. Sometimes I just use my hand and put on as much as I want to. It still looks good. But the recipe did call for a cup. And if you like coconut, you can always put more than a cup in there. Which is why I usually put more than a cup, because I definitely like coconut. Anything with coconut, I think. So just spread that out. Now we're going to take our Eagles brand milk, or any brand. Walmart brand, I've bought Walmart brand too. I happen to get this one on sale, which is why I bought Eagles brand. But any brand will work. So then I just take my spoon, and you just want to try to basically get all the nooks and crannies of the whole pan with this, so it kind of glues all the ingredients together. This is the only size can of condensed milk you can find, so no matter what brand you find, you don't have to worry about the size of it. This is the only one for condensed milk that they sell. Just trying to make sure you get all those little corners. And then the last thing you want to put on is your chopped nuts. Now I have walnuts in here, and I did oven toast them first because it kind of brings out the flavor a little bit. And I measured out a cup before I chopped them, but I don't know if I'm going to use all of them because I think you can actually have too much. It calls for a cup of nuts, and I never did know if the recipe meant before or after you cut them. Of course, you get more once you chop them up. So at least I think you do. Anyway, I just try to cover the top with a nice layer, and then if there's anything left over, then it's not that big a deal. I just save it for something else. Which you don't have to oven toast your nuts, by the way, if you don't have time. The walnuts you can just do them as is. And now I press it down just a little bit, just so it'll stick to the top. Because if you don't, when you take them out, all the nuts are, not all of them, but a lot of the nuts will fall off. So I just kind of press it down a little bit, and then that's it. So now we're just going to stick them in the oven on 350 for 30 minutes. It should be kind of bubbling, and around the edges should be kind of dark. Not burned, but dark. So the timer went off, and we are going to go ahead and take the 7-layer cookies out of the oven. And you can see how they're kind of brown around the edges and stuff, and that's what you want. You can kind of see it. Hear it sizzling too, or bubbling, whatever. Anyway, so now because it's very hot and all the chocolate and butterscotch chips are all real soft and gooey, you need to let it sit for a little while. It doesn't really, you can do longer if you want, but at least an hour, because you want it to kind of get solidified again, and then you're ready to cut it. But a lot of times I just wait until we're ready to eat them before I cut them. But anyway, it takes at least an hour to cool down before you can cut them. Cookies are done. They were in the oven for about 30 minutes, and you can see they're nice and brown around the edges and stuff, and it's been set. Let mine set a couple hours, so it's a little warm to the touch, but not too bad, because you don't want it to be hot. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut it. It's still nice and gooey. So the first piece is kind of hard to get out sometimes. Anyway, you can see the chocolate and the stuff is still kind of gooey. Now these can stay in the refrigerator forever, basically. So these you can bake these ahead of time, or you can keep them a long time so that you can eat them basically all December, and they'll still stay really good. And you have to put them in the refrigerator anyway because of what's in there. But you can leave them out for like maybe a day if you want to eat them warm the first time, but they're really good cold too.
Okay, so there you have it. Super easy recipe for the holidays. Don't forget, if you want to join us in our collaborative effort, do #holidaytreats. This one is a 7-layer cookie. Super easy recipe. One more thing that Mom wanted to tell you about doing this recipe.
Just make sure you spray your pan before you bake them, or before you put your stuff in there, because it will stick.
There you have it. Great last message, Mom.
Thanks.
All right. If you give this recipe a try, make sure you leave it in the comments. Also, don't forget to give the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't had a chance to do so yet. Hey, who likes good 7-layer cookies?
Everybody.
Farmers do, at least. All right. This wouldn't be a complete video without having somebody come around here and sample this. So anybody wants a sample, come on around.
That's good.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Luke's hair looks like the little thing on the microphone.
This is gonna be an outtakes, right?
Now we're gonna go and thank Sharon for making these amazing 7-layer cookies. It's so stinking good. Taking me right to Flavortown every bite. This is like a yacht in Flavortown. I'm sailing the open seas now, and this is my boat. Thanks, Sharon, or Ma.
You're welcome.
And so I am going to go stand behind the camera and let Mom handle it from here on out. And I'm just going to drink something warm.
All right, so we're making some.
I'm not behind the camera yet. You can't just jump right into it.
Why not? So the first piece is always hard to get out. I don't care what I do. It kind of usually gets messed up. But we have some people here that might want to test it. You can see. Whoops.
This is going from bad to worse.
If you want to join us in our collaborative effort to put your holiday treats,
You can do it.
Come on, you can do it.
Yes, we believe in you.
It's okay.
Eric, 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 Eric.
All right, take it from the top. There's one more thing that Mom wanted to remind the people.
Make sure you spray your pan with Pam or whatever brand you use because if you don't, now you got me messed up.
Just say, make sure you spray the pan so they don't stick.
No kidding.
Just real
Thank
quick,
you.
though, why if you put butter in at the very first,
Well, the
though, why do you need to spray it?
The
still?
butter
But
absorbs
the butter's
now.
the butter's only on the bottom, and the butter's not on the sides.
I know.
Caleb just wants to sample stuff. You're ruining the end of the video.
What? Stop. I wanted that one.